What up, good people? It's I here, and we're in Toronto at Sonic Boom for Record Store Day Canada. I'm gonna look up some records right now, alright? This is a classic singer-songwriter. This is Blind Melon. Shannon Hoon is the lead singer, one of the greatest voices that I can think of in the singer-songwriter space, rock and roll singer-songwriter space. He passed away, died, drug overdose. Unfortunately, it's sad ending to his career. But this album was released after he passed away, and there's some very, very strong, passionate moments on here. And I think I don't sound like him when I sing, but I do take some of his singing elements in my style, because there's so much energy, so much passion. And once you hear this, like, whether you like this style of music or not, you feel the passion in this voice. SHUGGIE OTIS. This album right here, Inspiration Information, is like when we go on a road trip, me and my family, my wife, 3 children, this is unanimously an album we could all agree on, all listen to. The musicianship of this album is amazing. Yeah, so this album changed my life. Mos Def is probably one of my favorite rappers of all time. When I think of hip hop, I think of Mos Def. Talib Kweli. When I discovered this album, it was on repeat. However, I'm not going to grab this album because there's another album that might be more important to me in the Mos Def catalog. Let's see. This is called Black on Both Sides. And the reason why this album is more important to me, and one of my most important albums of all time, is because Mos Def started singing on this album. He has a song called Umi Says. And Umi Says is one of the most beautiful hip-hop songs, but he's singing. I think if it wasn't for Mos Def, and then, you know, there's also Canadian artists like Chaos, who was singing and rapping at the same time as well. They inspired me to feel more confident in my singing, inspired me to feel more confident in instrumentation, live instrumentation, that I don't have to be a rapper, I can be a singer. Lauryn Hill. So I got to talk about Lauryn Hill. So Lauryn Hill is another one of those artists that inspired me to look outside of hip hop and see that there's more you can do outside of hip hop. And this album, most people when they think of Lauryn Hill, they go to the Miseducation Lauryn Hill, but for me, this album blew my mind open because she was like doing these long verses of hip hop and singing and playing acoustic guitar, which was unheard of at the time. And I remember finding the lyrics to this album and listening to the album, and there was a Mr. Intentional, Adam Lives in Theory, Gotta Find Peace of Mind, and Mystery of Iniquity. That was a song where I was like studying the lyrics. I was having a hard time following what she was saying because it was so much packed into one verse. And I just remember studying it, and just really appreciating her lyrics and just like how deep she was going and how much she was shedding and pouring out. And she really inspired me to just really say, you know, be honest with your music, just pour out, give everything, and that you can leave a strong impact with just your acoustic guitar. So definitely, and I always gotta go back to Chaos, because I remember the time when her and Chaos in Toronto, they were performing at a Much Music thing downtown Toronto. I can't remember what the event was. It was summertime. I remember seeing that. She was on acoustic guitar, Chaos came out on acoustic guitar. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play acoustic guitar. So this album, Lauryn Hill, I have it on DVD, have it on CD, have it on my computer. Children love it. Great album. Just Lauryn Hill, underrated. This is probably one of the most underrated albums of all time. I'm gonna do my Kanye West. This is one of the most underrated albums of all time. So growing up, I listened to a lot of reggae music, a lot of calypso, because my parents are West Indian, Jamaican, Trinidadian. Father's Trinidadian, mother's Jamaican. So I was in that world, you know what I mean? So I missed Tom Waits. That wasn't in my house at all. So I didn't really go back to listen to it. Bob Dylan, I like him now and I respect him in the song right now, but that was never in my house, you know what I mean? Bryan Adams, I loved Bryan Adams growing up. And I would sing it in my house and like be ridiculed by my siblings because I loved Bryan Adams. But we just weren't listening to that stuff because growing up there was always a lot of reggae music, a lot of hip hop, a lot of R&B, and I had to kind of venture off as I grew up into certain bands. Wilco is a band that I gotta get into. Like I'm ashamed to say that I haven't really dived into their music. But one thing I did notice about them is that I love their album covers. They have like these great album covers. Look, this captures me right away when I see it. All their album covers are like that. There's another one here. This is kind of bizarre. But they're very like, they put a lot of thought into their album covers. And for me, I want to do the same thing. I'm gonna grab my album cover. So I want to like have an album cover that grabs your attention. Let me take out the plastic so you can see it clearly. It just grabs your attention immediately. Like when you see it, you're like, what is that? What's going on? And it creates a story in and of itself. Because you know, once you see an album cover like this, you're gonna get some kind of depth, some kind of dimension to the album. It's not gonna be just a flat, you know, I'm no disrespect to people who just put their face on the album, but you feel like you're going into a story when you get an album like this. Thanks a lot, Sonic Boom, Record Store Day Canada. I'm out.